I'm going to be going over what we achieved on the farm in 2025 and what I would like to achieve on the farm in 2026. And in case you're new, my name's Joshua and I live on a multi-generational 50-acre farm where we breed Nigerian dwarf goats, Black Angus cattle, and own rabbits, cats, and a dog. And FYI, if you're wondering why I'm filming this at the pond, I just thought it would be fun to film at the pond. You see me looking at something, it is my notepad because I wrote down all the information on here because otherwise I would forget. Let's go ahead and get started with the farm's 2025 recap. In 2025, we had a total of 7 calves born. Unfortunately, one of those calves were stillborn. We had a total of 4 bull calves and 3 heifers born. And goat-wise, we had 11 healthy kids born with 0 stillborns. I'm very blessed for that. We had 5 born in March and 6 born in June, with a total of 7 does and 4 bucks, which is crazy. Unfortunately, 3 of those does were born with extra teats, which is a deformity, especially in dairy goats, so I decided to sell those girls as pets only. In 2025, we sold a total of 4 bovine, which included 2 adult cows, a Viva and Sunflower, and then it included 2 bull calves, Comet and Tortuga. And then goat-wise, we sold a total of 14 goats, which included of 4 adults, Zoe, June, Pickles, and Willow. Which I haven't showing June or Willow on the channel. I have mentioned in the videos before that I was going to sell them. I just ended up scrapping the video that showed them being sold in, but they actually went together, so they're doing great in their new home. And then I sold a total of 10 goat kids, which included of 4 boys, Aladdin and Moose from our summer kidding season, and then Dumbledore and Seth from our spring kidding season. All 4 of them are doing awesome in their new home. And I actually got to visit Dumbledore recently, and look how big he's gotten. He's looking like a handsome man. I also sold Eve, Azura, Winnie, Jasmine, and I ended up selling Lainey as well, even though I was going to keep her, which I didn't show on the channel, but I ended up selling Lainey. I also sold Olive this year. She was one of my 2024 babies, but I sold her in early January. And then this year, we bought a total of 0 cattle. However, we did buy a total of 5 goats. At the beginning of the year, in April, we brought home my first ever registered goat and a wether, which were Crescent and Conway. And then in August, I brought home my second registered buck, Paperboy. Brought home my first ever registered doe, Bo Peep, in September. And then finally, we brought home one more registered doeling, Malele, in November. Unfortunately, this year, we did have some losses on the farm. We did end up losing 3 bovid, which included of 1 adult cow, September. I have her a memorial video if you'd like to watch that. And we unfortunately also lost 2 calves. Like I mentioned, Esther, she had a stillborn. We lost baby Tortuga. He followed his mom into this very pond and he laid down and he just got some water in his lungs and he dry drowned. Goat-wise, we ended up losing 1 goat, which was a little extra teat doeling, Ren. She was Willow and Pickle's daughter. And Ren was probably my favorite baby goat born. Unfortunately, she got coccidiosis and she ended up passing away from that. But she did teach me a lot with that, so now I know how to prevent it and to treat it in our future baby. This year, we actually retained 5 animals, which isn't as many as we've retained in the past. But we ended up retaining 3 heifers, which were the 3 heifers that were born this year, which included of Sunny, my personal favorite heifer. She's the friendliest. Not my favorite heifer, but she's pretty friendly. I love her. And then we retained May, who was out of My Cow September, and then we retained Petunia, who's out of Poppy. Goat-wise, we retained technically 2/3 goats, because like I mentioned, we were going to retain Lainey, but I ended up selling her in the end. And then we ended up retaining Jasmine from the fall kidding season. And then we also ended up retaining Luna out of the spring kidding season. Then we actually found 2 animals that appeared on the property and we ended up keeping them. And those were 2 kittens. The first one we found was Firecracker in July. What seemed to be a very sweet tortoiseshell kitten, but ended up being the meanest cat you'll ever meet. She growls like a dog. I'm not sure what's wrong with her. And then sweet little Anna, she's the most beautiful calico cat. She was very skittish at first, but now she's the sweetest baby ever. I love Anna so much. And also this year, which I feel like is a good thing to notice, is that we had our first goat yoga event. My cousin Cherish works at a gym, so we brought 3 baby goats over there, and we had our goat yoga event, which I thought was really cool, and I hope we do it again this year. Now let's go ahead and get into my 2026 goals. And I have them split into 2 categories. One are the animal categories, and the other is the more social media side, but still revolves around the animals. First goal is to buy 2 more registered doelings. We already have 2, like I mentioned, but I would like to have 4 different bloodlines I can work with and decide which bloodline I would like to continue on with. And I'd also like to get 2 new registered Black Angus heifers because we currently only have 2. And again, I'd like to have, technically 2 of them are related, so I'd like to have 2 different bloodlines, and then out of the 4 calves or heifers, we can decide which bloodlines we'd like to work with. And then lastly, I would like to get a second dog. We currently have 1 Great Pyrenees Trinity, and I love her so much, but I really wish she had a friend to be with. So I know my parents are never going to want to willingly go look for a dog, so I'm hoping a dog just wanders up on the property and we can never find a home for it, and then we just keep it, because that's what we did with the kittens. So I have faith that that's going to happen. And then my next part of my Animal 2026 goals is the producing part, which the first one, these next ones I think we're going to be able to accomplish, which is to produce purebred and registered Nigerian dwarf goats. Bo Peep is actually due to give birth in March. She will hopefully give us purebred goats. Now it depends on what she has, whether I register them or not. I will only be registering does from her this year. So if she only has bucklings, I won't register any of them. But we are getting another registered goat. It's already in the works. We put down a deposit, but we're going to breed to give birth in October. So that's a second chance of registered doelings. And even if she does have a doeling, it may have a defect or something that doesn't allow me to register her, which would cause her not to be able to be registered. And basically the same thing with the cattle. We have 2 registered cows, Patty and Sherry, who are due to give birth, I believe, in April this year. And they should have purebred Black Angus cattle. And if we have a doeling, or not a doeling, if we have a heifer, we will probably register them as well. Which we have had registered and purebred Black Angus cows born before. It's just something happened with the pedigrees that caused all of our cattle to be unregistered. And then lastly is to move the cats into their own room. Currently, we have our 3 cats, Clyde, Firecracker, and Anna, and they're currently living in pens.
I was almost done editing this video and realized I forgot to share an important update, which is that I have changed the name of my social media platforms to Joshin with Critters, because my name is Joshua, and I find it kind of like silly or dumb. So I'm going to change most of the things to that instead of just Galloping Goat Ranch, since I like other animals, not just goats, and we own other animals that aren't besides just goats. So the Galloping Goat Ranch is still my Facebook, but my Instagram and YouTube are changing to Joshin with Critters, because I just find it kind of fun. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of boring since it was just me, but the next video you will be seeing is me picking up a new goat, so stay tuned.